Happy Friday and TGIF members of the Altcoin Buzz Army. Now, the date of March 12th may not kind of mean all that much to you without a little bit of a memory jog, but here it is. On this day 1 year ago, we had that horrific crash that started into the not only the 12th, but the 13th of March on Friday the 13th, when Bitcoin dipped all the way down to $3,621. It was indeed a bleak and dark event. We're going to take a look today at all the projects that you could have invested on during that dip 1 year ago today, March 12th and March 13th, 2020. And the funny thing is, we looked at a whole bunch of different altcoins that, of course, we're big fans of. And if you invested $11,000, if you bought that dip up for $11,000 today, just 1 year later, you'd be laughing with nearly $1 million. So from $11,000 to $1 million in your portfolio. And here's the thing, as Bitcoin kind of edges its way up to a new all-time high, currently just above 56,000, the very interesting thing to see is just what a small blip on the radar that market, crash in quotations turned out to be. In retrospect, and looking back years from now, everything's going to be a blip on the radar because the larger macro trend is going to prevail. And so we can't get too discouraged by these temporary setbacks. So we're going to take a look at Pratik's write-up here. Again, had you invested just $11,000 1 year ago today on March 12th, 2020, you'd be walking away today with $957,000 if you invested equally $1,000 into Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance Coin, Chainlink, Chiliz, MATIC, FTM, Theta, ADA Engine, and VET. We'll take a look at those numbers, specifically break them down. In today's piece, we're also going to be updating you guys as to what Binance is doing, big initiatives on their end. We have updates from Fuse, we have updates from Polygon, which is still soaring after its recent Coinbase listing. Ocean Protocol is in the news, as is Polka Foundry here. They have a new partnership that we're going to be discussing. Some positive macro news as well. Not too surprisingly, Michael Saylor and Microstrategy, they've just acquired a few hundred more Bitcoin. Guys, if you like this kind of content, Bitcoin, blockchain, cryptocurrency, and altcoins, of course, be sure to like and subscribe to Altcoin Buzz. All right, so here we are a year later. Happy anniversary, I suppose. We're looking back 1 year to that Black Thursday, Black Friday event. Incidentally, you may remember that it was in fact Friday the 13th a year ago at this time in March. So very ominous kind of date. Bitcoin archive here. On this day last year, Bitcoin dropped 40% in one single day to $3,858. Bitcoin is now up 1,400% since that day, just a year ago. This is a textbook example and really quite a legendary lesson, that emphasizes the importance of buying the dip, even when it's painful, even when everything is looking apocalyptic. And as such, Pratik, our chartist here over at Altcoin Buzz, by the way, if you're not following Pratik on our Trade Signals Telegram group, you're simply missing out, because he has been not only going back a year, but in more recent weeks and months, calling out major price action, major price targets for some of our favorite projects, including Chiliz, including Engine, including Theta. I always pin the information to the top of the comments section, so do be sure you're part of that Telegram Trade Signals group. It's never financial advice, but it's where you can really join an informed discussion where we look and examine some of our favorite projects here in the altcoin space. So, moving right along here, 1 year ago today, Pratik kind of looked back at the numbers and said, if you just invested $11,000, so $1,000 in across 11 different projects, all of which we've championed, we've had our eyes on now for years, that $11,000 1 year later would now translate to $957,000. Let's begin here with Bitcoin. It dropped all the way down to $3,600. It's currently trading above 56,000. So if you invested $1,000 in Bitcoin a year ago today, that would be now worth $15,624, a 15-fold increase. Next up is Ethereum. It dropped all the way down to $86 a year ago. It's now trading somewhere in the $1,800 range. So if you invested $1,000 in Ether a year ago, that would now be worth over $20,000. How about Binance Coin? Well, a year ago, it dropped all the way down to $6.38. Meanwhile, it's now trading at $286. So if you invested $1,000, again, a year ago, you'd now have over $44.8 thousand in BNB. Link dropped to about $1.30 last year. If you invested that $1,000, you're now looking at a trading price of somewhere in the range of $29.37. So that brings you a cool $22.5 thousand. This is a crazy one, especially given the recent price uptick. It's hard to believe, but Chili's CHZ, the price dropped to $0.003 a year ago on the 12th of March. That is 0.3 cents. It's now trading at 50 cents. So if you do the math, an investment of $1,000 a year ago into Chili's CHZ is now worth over $166,000. So we're talking about in excess of 166 times growth. How about MATIC? Well, the price of MATIC dropped to $0.006. That's 0.6 cents a year ago, and it's currently trading at 45 cents. So $1,000 in MATIC purchased a year ago would now be worth about $75,000. FTM dropped to $0.0017 a year ago. It's now trading at 41 cents. $1,000 investment a year ago would now be worth $241,000. One of our favorites here, Theta. It took a big hit a year ago, dropping to 3.5 cents. And guess what? It's currently trading just below $7. So $1,000 invested in Theta a year ago would now be worth $194,000. How about Cardano? Well, they dropped to, believe it or not, 1.7 cents a year ago. It's now trading at $1.10. So $1,000 invested in Cardano 12 months ago would now be worth $64,000. Engine was 3.2 cents, is now $2.1. $1,000 invested in Engine would have turned into $65,625. VeChain dropped all the way down to 0.15 cents. It's currently trading at 6.9 cents. $1,000 invested into VeChain a year ago would now be worth $46,000. So, in conclusion, if you invested $11,000 as per Pratik here across these 11 different coins, investing $1,000 into each, you'd practically be a millionaire at about $960,000 in terms of present value. Look, the point is, guys, that I'm not doing this to torture anybody here, myself included, but hindsight is always 20/20, right? The important lesson going forward is that we know there are going to be dips in the future. When those dips occur, you've now been through enough to know that, it's time to buckle down, roll up your sleeves, take advantage of them. Dips are actually predictable in this space. We know for a fact they're going to happen. And if you believe in a project and it takes a major hit only really because Bitcoin is taking a major hit or because of other macro, global economic conditions, we all know what happened a year ago in March, that's probably a good opportunity to get into the spaces, those projects that you're already a fan of. Not financial advice, but I think this is an important history lesson here. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Let me know if any of you all members of the Altcoin Buzz Army invested a year ago at this time on the dip. If so, let me know your ROI. Let me know how you're doing. I've picked up a couple of these myself. So in fact, Chili's and Theta for me, as well as VeChain actually, a little bit of VeChain, were buys on the dip. In retrospect, I wish I would have invested more, but again, hindsight is always 20/20. We're not doing this to torture ourselves. We're doing this to remind ourselves of future opportunities. So let me know your thoughts about that, guys, in the comments below. Moving right along here to some Binance news. There's a very high prominent individual that's joined Binance as a policy advisor. He's also going to be acting as a liaison to the government for Changpeng Zhao and the broader Binance team. CZ Binance here commenting on Senator Max Baucus. Many don't seem to understand, so here's a summary. Senator Max Baucus is the senator of Montana and has been for 36 years. He's the 11th U.S. ambassador to China, an advisor as well to Alibaba and much more. He's going to be helping Binance on strategy and policy, government relations, compliance, and much more. It's a pretty important development. It's not every day that you hear about a senator joining the world's, in my opinion, best exchange in a high profile, high potential way. So let's kind of wait and see what that produces, but that's very encouraging news. Binance also has this news. The exchange is adding all kinds of new features for merchants to its cryptocurrency payments platform. This is following a beta release in February. You can read more about that here on the Binance blog. Okay, Bondly is in the news. At Bondly Finance, we're excited to announce our strategic partnership with Atari. This collaboration will focus on collections of dedicated NFTs covering gaming, music, and much more. The ultimate goal is to combine these NFTs into a brand new gaming platform, Atari Metaverse. And I know I took some flack yesterday given my comments on NFTs. I was calling modern fine art hipster nonsense. I stand by those comments, by the way. I think modern art is a joke. I think art is fantastic, though. So don't, misconstrue my comments. Art, music, I'm a fan of all these things. I'm an anti-fan of those people that are very limited in their artistic ability or talent, and they're just coming in, they're bandwagoning onto this space to make a quick buck. Beeple, he's the kind of guy, we covered his piece of art, 5,000 Days. We covered that yesterday. It's a nice piece of art. I'm actually on board with that. I don't think it's worth $69 million. I don't think it's worth $69,000 personally. So that's just kind of my gripe. Although all of that being said, I'm not a fan of modern art. I'm not a fan of abstract art or cash-in kind of art. But I love the idea of NFTs being used for this particular purpose here, for gaming metaverses. That's exactly, in my opinion, the most important use cases here that the space is moving toward. You can read about that here more on bondlyfinance.medium.com. Atari and Bondly announced strategic partnership to launch dedicated NFTs, non-fungible tokens, followed by the Atari Metaverse gaming platform. If you're sick of hearing about NFTs, I don't think it's going to come to an end anytime soon. As per this data on cryptopotato.com, Google searches for NFTs are now 300% more than DeFi queries, decentralized finance. So Google Trend results show that NFT searches have overtaken DeFi searches and really are continuing to grow at unprecedented rates. I imagine that'll be the case for a little while longer before things cool down a little bit. Fuse is in the news here. They're thrilled to announce a new integration with Open Zeppelin. Fuse is now supported by Open Zeppelin's flagship product, Defender. This important collaboration will boost Fuse's stature and credibility in the Solidity smart contract space. More details here on medium.com. Fuse is integrated on Open Zeppelin to supercharge smart contracts on the platform. For all of the Harmony fans out there, Harmony Protocol, ticker of course is 1ONE. There seem to be a growing number of you out there in the altcoin buzz army that are pretty big fans of this project. Well, Stephen Tse here, he's the Harmony Protocol founder, announcing kind of with a Justin Sun move. He's making an announcement of an upcoming announcement. So tomorrow, there is supposedly going to be an announcement about one, naming NFT, perhaps an integration or a project of their own. And number two, one community DAO. Join us to earn your name.one like Stephen.crazy.one, hashtag the one, hashtag to the crazy ones. So I guess stay tuned. We should be hearing more from Harmony Protocol in the very near future. Polygon, which is on a major high here following its Coinbase listing. Polygon, previously known as MATIC, ticker still is MATIC. They have this update. Your favorite alpacas are coming to the world of Polygon. Welcoming City Alpaca to Polygon, a DeFi plus NFT miracle city where you can collect and breed adorable alpacas. Sounds like crypto kitties to me, just a little bit. But you can yield farm with your alpaca NFT and let them sprint with Polygon's high speed and low-cost transactions. Not my cup of tea, but if this interests you, check it out. You can read more details here on medium.com. Alpaca City partners with Polygon, again, formerly known as MATIC Network, to bring NFT experience to the next level. Okay, Ocean Protocol here. Partnership news. Ocean is collaborating with Chain to bring compute to data to their AI marketplace and expand our offerings on Ocean Market with AI data. Chain and Ocean join forces to expand their AI ecosystems. Foundry here is in the news. This from yesterday. This strategic partnership will lay a strong foundation for building the blocks in the Polkadot ecosystem. You can read more here on medium.com. Foundry and Kylin. So Foundry partners with Kylin Network to provide high quality Oracle data to its dApps. There's always so much partnership news. Like, it's the kind of thing that I find, I'll speak for myself, like I'm a little bit spoiled. We cover all of what we feel are the highlights while still, giving you guys a reasonably length video. We don't try to go over 20 or 25 minutes, and there's still, barely just enough time to cover the highlights. And we do this every day. Like, it's crazy how many constructive, high potential partnerships are coming out of this space on a daily basis. Case in point, BlockFi here. We're thrilled to have Bain Cap VC, that's Bain Capital, lead our Series D investment round. Wow. Read about how we're bringing crypto to the masses, written by partner Stefan Coe. Bain Capital, a pretty significant heavyweight in the traditional consulting and finance world. Their venture arm now co-leads BlockFi's $350 million Series D, bringing crypto to the masses. Very positive news. More than the sum here, the $350 million, which is a lot, more than the positive news that BlockFi is getting support, the fact that it's Bain Capital Ventures. That's not, that wouldn't have been my first choice for a VC firm as far as somebody willing to I suppose spotlight BlockFi here. And I'm saying this like in the sense that I'm pleasantly surprised. So Bain Capital entering the crypto space, and BlockFi as well, expanding. Very impressive. We'll have another word about BlockFi in just a second, but more positive macro news first. Wisdom Tree files for a Bitcoin ETF. There's so many Bitcoin ETFs that already exist. I think the count now is 3 in Canada, where I am. It's inevitable that something sooner or later is going to get approved in the United States. But if you're interested, read more about this here on Coindesk.com. Others applying to offer a Bitcoin ETF in the US include NYDIG, Valkyrie, and Van Eck. I think the winner, as far as the first across the line, may be New York Dig. But we'll see. Like I said, either way, one of them inevitably is going to get it. It's going to be the first, and then you'll have a second and a third. There will be many. Michael Saylor here, the living legend of Microstrategy. They have purchased another 262 Bitcoins for about $15 million in cash at an average price of $57,146 per Bitcoin. As of the 12th of March, that is today, Microstrategy hold 91,326 Bitcoin, acquired for a little over $2.2 billion at an average price of a little over $24,000 per Bitcoin. And I've been saying it for a while. It's not exactly an original thought or an original prediction, but mark my words, Microstrategy will hold 100,000 Bitcoin. Michael Saylor, there's no way that he's going to let those additional Bitcoin leave them off the table. They're going for 100K. I expect them to have that by the spring, most likely. So kudos to Michael Saylor. This guy is the symbol of persistence, right? And dedication. Talk about confidence that just is exuded to the rest of the space and all the other players in it. Very well done. Awesome. So here's something that we're asking as a closing thought at Altcoin Buzz IO on Twitter. We talked about BlockFi a moment ago. They have 225,000 users at a $3 billion company valuation. They just got another injection, as we saw a moment ago, by Bain Capital Ventures of another $350 million in Series D funding. And then we have Crypto.com. They have 10 million users. So actually significantly more, doing some quick math. 40 times more users than BlockFi. Wow, I wasn't aware. They have an $8 billion token FD valuation. And then Binance, 100 million users at 48 billion token FD valuation. Our question to you guys, which of these is undervalued? Is it BlockFi? Is it Crypto.com? Is it Binance? Is it all of them? Is it none of them? Is there another dark horse? Maybe you feel that another service out there is particularly undervalued. Let us know your thoughts about this in the comments below. We're very eager to hear your point of view. I have my opinion. If you guys start a discussion in the comments, then I'll share what that is. But that is about it for today, everybody. Hey, check out Pratik's write-up if you feel like torturing yourself as to all the money that you could have made if you invested, if you bought up the dip a year ago. Check out as well altcoinbuzz.io, our website. Guys, do be sure you're following us on all the regular social media channels. We never offer financial advice, but do check out our Trade Signals Telegram group. Best of luck if you do choose to invest on this Friday. TGIF, everybody. Have a great tail end to your week. Have a great start to your weekend. And as always, stay safe. We do hope to see you again soon in our next video. Take care.